Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. If you didn't know, this is where I actually keep my displays behind me. My original display is back there, and I had a couple requests to go over it again or work on it. Unfortunately, I won't be working on it anymore, but I'm glad to give you a quick little tour of the display and other stuff I keep up in here. This first little corner is pretty straightforward. What we have here is just some storage supplies. There's a piece of my old tripod, some paint, that little book there, the binder. I actually recorded some of my customs. I haven't done that in a while though. If we move up here, I actually have an old CD stand. And on it, if we move a little closer, we have some customs and other miscellaneous stuff. There's some supplies, and once we get to the top, there's some more customs there that you have seen in other videos, some that you may have not, I don't know. And I need a better place to store those, but that's what works right now. Back here, I have some foam board. That's a spare piece. That big square up there is what we cut out for the corn harvest display, and those are other displays cut out. Down here, you can see the broom that featured in that same video. And under the display, we have some more supplies. We have a lot of supplies for display making down here and other things, but it's mostly for displays. Some of it is just junk, and I need to get rid of it. Next, we have some childhood toys that were on the display originally. And if we take a look, we have the grain bin setups here. There's the big bin, and here is an early, probably one of my first, if you would call this a custom. It has a little bin wagon with a little tarp over it. And I have other things in there as well. Down there is my grandpa's old fire truck. Back there is some older toys that I played with out in the dirt that my neighbor gave to me that I was planning on restoring someday. And you can see I have this grain drill that actually featured in, I think it was the 50 subscriber special or something, and I did sandblast it, but I didn't get any further than that. If we go over here, back in there, I have some boxes, and as well as behind the display back there I have a stack. I went a little overboard. I had a time when I thought boxes were worth something or worth keeping. I don't know. Now I need to go through them, but I try to keep only the ones that I think I might get rid of the toy someday, or could be valuable and useful for shipping something, such as a custom if I'd ever get into that. Over here, at the last, I have a couple displays that I just sat there, as well as my sandblasting cabinet booth thing. Now for the display. Now, lighting has always been a challenge back here, so it's not going to be the best quality, and I apologize. I could get some lights hooked up, but I'm afraid with what I have, it would just make some shadows. The first thing here is the pasture. I spent a lot of time working on this, and there's quite a few memories that go along with it. I drilled out each hole out of the wood plywood, and then I put in each stake, and actually cut grooves so the thread would go in. I have some steers in there. And this gate I kind of made to open, I think. Kinda, yeah. In the background here is the silo that featured in one of my videos. And in the barn is nothing in the barn. But I got that from a set, an Ertl set. So it's just an Ertl barn that I painted. So it's customized, whatever. Back there is a fence row. That was probably one of the later additions. I actually kind of like that little fence row. It kind of puts a finishing touch on that area. And here's where the lighting gets pretty bad. But you can see that there's the chicken coop. I have some wrapped bales there for feed. And a nice lane. Actually, I'm pretty proud of the lane. And here is the barn that I made completely overscaled. If you can see here, I thought, oh, the big barn can be for really big implements and the little one for little implements. Well, I have here, just to show you how messed up this is, I have a big four-wheel drive tractor. I can easily go through that little door. And the biggest implement in 1/64 scale that I own is this. and it can't quite get under that door. You can see it's a little tight, just a hair tall maybe, but it's like fine in that. And this is supposed to just be a little pole barn in central Pennsylvania. If you want to see the inside here, I have some equipment in there, as well as a little shop, but I didn't really put much into that lately. So that's that. It's the next display I make. I plan on making a better shop, but I don't know if it'll actually turn out either. If we move over here, I have a nice little road that, oh, sorry about that, that I made out of the little play black and white road. I put two together, painted the center lines. It actually turned out pretty nice. Here we have a hayfield that I made, and there was this featured in the pasture as well. I actually put straw down, covered it in masking tape, to make little bumps and hills. So that's what that is, and I cut up bale rope for the hay. The main fence row is right here, and unfortunately a lot of the foliage fell off as I let it sit, but that's a pretty nice fence row, at least it was at one point. Back in the back there's a little farm road, and this is what I made a whole video about, just sifting dirt basically. If you watched that, I thank you, because it couldn't have been too interesting. And I'm actually planning on cutting this display apart. That's right, but it won't be a bad thing. Let me show you. So, it's my first display, and if you ever made a first display and you had to get rid of it, you probably felt, well, that's a little bit sad, and I don't like to get rid of things. So, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep this much all the way to about right there. And I'm going to cut this right about here, maybe, so I have a little bit of the dirt, just so I don't ruin the fence row when I cut it, really. And I have all the cool stuff, because that, you can get a dirt field anywhere, and that's just wasting space. I'll shove it back in this corner over here, and I'll have room for more displays, more detailed ones, and I plan on making more little ones like I had, but putting barns and houses, and to make a whole display just kind of cut apart. And anybody that makes a display, I would think, likes to imagine that they're going to make it the quality that you would see at a National Farm Toy Show, and that is in my head as well. However, I think realistically, mine won't turn out quite that good, and if they do, I'm just going to be all the more happy. I'm going to surely try for it, though. So this is my farm display the last time, and what else I have in this little crawl space. So thanks for sticking with me watching this video, and I'd just like to remind you that we are nearing 1,000 subscribers, and that is a big milestone for me, and probably the biggest for a long time. So, if you're not subscribed yet, I'd really appreciate your subscription if you could share it with anybody you know, and if you liked it a lot, make sure to like it. Thanks for stopping by.